Hey everybody, it's Chris, and today we're going to do a really simple pour. This weekend I've been working on coasters and things for a craft show that I have coming up. And I was kind of messing around with some different colors yesterday and kind of trying something new that I hadn't tried before. And I did a black and white coaster, and it turned out super cool. And so I thought it would look really cool as a painting. I don't think I've ever done just black and white before. So we're going to give this a go today. So we're working on a 12 by 16 canvas. It is the gallery wrapped canvas with the deep edges. And then I have put push pins on all four corners. I did spritz this on the back side with water because I felt like it wasn't quite as snug as I wanted it to be. So that's kind of a little trick that you can do if your canvas feels a little bit loose to you and now it's nice and tight like a drum. So you can spritz the back of it with water. And honestly, I had a painting that I did. It was actually my beach pour, and I was getting ready to varnish it today. And I felt like it was a little bit loose. And I spritzed it with water before I started to varnish, and it actually tightened up again. So you can do it even after it's painted. I've had luck doing that as well. All right, guys, so 12 by 16 canvas. I think we're going to go for about 12 ounces of paint since we do have the edges to cover today. That seems like an awful lot for a 12 by 16, but I want to make sure that the edges are covered. And I did a painting before this, so I'm going to have to be really careful if I have to touch up the edges because right now I have a lot of paint in the pink and purple variety, if you can believe it, on the canvas already, or on my plastic already. So I tried to clean it up a little bit, but that's all right. We're going to work with it. Okay, so today we're going to use the Artist Loft Flow acrylic paints. I'm using the black and the white. They have both been mixed with my pouring medium. My pouring medium is 4 cups of Floetrol that I've strained, a cup of Glue All, a half a cup of Liquitex pouring medium, and a 1/4 cup of water. And then I mix that all together, and that's what gives me a lovely consistency to my paint. Okay, so starting with the white, and then I'm gonna layer in some black here. Pretty sure my black needs to be thinned down a tiny bit here. So let me do that real quick. Okay, now we'll continue on. So I'm just gonna try to carefully layer my black and white in the cup. And when you're using such a big cup like I am, it's a little bit harder to layer it when you first get started. So we're just gonna do the best that we can and try to gently layer it in there. And I'll come back in with the black. And I'm just gonna continue to add my layers of color. Well, it's really not color. I'm going to continue to add my layers of paint. All right, so what I want to do is pour horizontal stripes, and then hopefully that will eliminate, hopefully it'll spread out so we don't have to tilt a lot. And I'm going to start over here on the side and kind of pour off a little bit off of the edge, and then just work my way across the painting and the canvas. And I'm going to continue to add stripes of paint. I'm waiting for that white to come out. Holy cow. There it is. So I might just pour a stripe right through the middle there. And hopefully that'll help kind of push it out a little bit too. Because I don't have a problem with going side to side, but I really don't want to ruin my lines that I have going here. So really would like to get most of it covered. Because if I'm going to tip off, I would rather tip off of the sides so that I retain my lines. Hopefully that makes sense. It's kind of cool looking. Okay, I'm gonna let this sit here for a minute and kind of let the paint come together there in the center. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and torch this real quick just to get rid of any bubbles. So far it's looking really cool though. It's definitely different from what I normally do. Okay, so as I said before, my goal is to tip off of the sides to retain these lines. And I am gonna bring it over here to the right a little bit just so that I can save some of that paint, because I know that on these other ends, I know that I don't have paint on there. So I'm definitely gonna have to touch up probably. So I'm gonna go ahead and move this over here and just go ahead and start tipping that paint off. And I'm gonna kind of rock it back and forth just to make sure that I'm keeping everything even. And then I'm gonna move over here and do the same thing. I know that I have a ton of paint on here, so I definitely have to get rid of some of this or I'm gonna have a big old mess. Okay. And I think we're gonna tip up to the top a little bit and see if we can cover that edge. There we go. Then I'm just gonna bring it back down to even that line out. Actually, the wave is kind of cool, isn't it? And I think the ends of it actually got covered pretty well. All right, guys, there we go. The ends definitely look great because we tipped enough off. And I just have a tiny bit really to cover on the sides, and that could end up creeping down and covering on its own. I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of different. And I will tell you that when I did the coasters yesterday, it definitely changed as it sat. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching today. Bye-bye.